This is one of our most popular podcasts, and one that I share so often with new clients that we decided to post it again. I hope you enjoy it.
Welcome to Marketing Mistakes and How to Avoid Them. Here's your host, Stacey Jones.
Welcome to another episode of Marketing Mistakes and How to Avoid Them. I'm Stacey Jones, and today we're going to talk about how much product placement costs, ranging from a single one-off to a comprehensive program. This is the most asked question of my agency, how much to budget for product placement. And it's the question that our agency can count on to hear at least once a day from a brand inquiry. And quite frankly, it's a hard question to give an instant answer to. It's not like there's a schedule out there, even similar to a network's media rate card, that defines cost as A, B, or C. And there are so many adjustable variables that have to be considered that it makes each brand's inquiry completely unique. And there's no way to compare apples to oranges as far as content partnerships go, because each is unique in its own content creator team, distributor limitations, cast allowances, and of course the storyline. But I'm going to give it a shot today. When you get a call from a telemarketer or even a software program salesperson, they can typically sell you a service or package deal that has a set pricing. Everyone gets package 1, 2, or 3. There's no customization, or if there is, it's all really an upsell program that has been packaged together. Regardless of who you are, what company you work for, or typically even how big your company is, there's a program outline for you that is fairly set in stone. This is far, far different when it comes to selling product placement. There are so many factors to build in, and really no set rules. The highest bidder is typically the winner of the placement, but not always. Many times we've seen the biggest dollar offer brushed aside because another brand was just a little closer to the final decision maker's heart. And that's often based on familiarity of the brand. But someone who offers nothing but product in exchange could actually get an even more all-star exposure than the biggest promotional partner out there, all because of the right storyline, relevancy, and need by production. There are so many things that matter. Is it a film or a music video, or is it a TV show? If it's a TV show, is it on cable or network TV? Is it daytime programming? Is it primetime programming? Morning? Is it national? Is it local? And which network is actually distributing it? And the people. Who is the cast? Who's the director? What big names are actually associated that are going to help drive the cost upwards if you're partnering with it? And how big an audience is expected? Is this based on historical evidence from previous seasons, or is this a franchise hit? And how big a placement opportunity will it actually be? Is there hands-on, scripted storyline, a verbal mention, or is it just a background product shot? And perhaps the biggest driver out there at all. Does anyone else want it? Is the category competitive? And are people going after it? And I cannot overstate it. You have to understand the very big importance of having the onset decision maker know your brand. If they've never heard of it, you're really not going to be considered. And they need to know about it before you step forward and make a big ticket offer. So many brands miss the magic of product placement, where relationships and familiarity drive the opportunity versus an open pocketbook. If the decision maker didn't grow up with your brand and is not part of their daily life, you need to start making it be. This is particularly true for international brands who have no presence in the United States. You want the decision maker to think the partnership is a fit and not to have to climb a mountain trying to sell it in as one, because when you start climbing, that price, it starts going up as well. So now to get to the heart of the matter, the actual costs. If as a brand you are serious about product placement, then you should really consider working with a product placement agency who can create a footprint in Hollywood that is not just about on-screen exposure, but about relationship and brand familiarity building. When as a brand you go to a content creator and you are an unknown entity, the price tag you're going to be paying is way higher than that which can be unearthed by a vigilant product placement agent. The agency costs more than pay for themselves in the long run, plus you get exposure on content where it's just impossible to purchase exposure in. A product placement agency is going to educate the production and have them keep your brand top of mind and make the production want to work with you more than they would if you were just offering one-hit wonder dollars out there, here and there. This is, as I like to say, where the magic happens. Having a proactive product placement program that is always on the lookout for opportunities allows large featured roles to be negotiated at lower rates. And if you go in this direction, for gosh sakes, don't limit your brand exposure opportunities only to TV or film. Embrace them all. Product placement is a numbers game, but the product you provide can be used over and over and over again. And if lost, bill it to the production that lost it, unless, of course, they made your brand a star along the way and the relationship is well worth it. Pricing, of course, depends on the agency, but most established reputable agencies are going to quote between $60,000 to $250,000 per brand, and more for a brand with multiple product categories. Some brand categories require higher dollars based on staffing needs as well as storage needs. A car company, as an example, is going to be on the higher end. A packaged foods company that only sells chips on the lower end. And with that cost, additional money should be budgeted in to be applied to those awesome opportunities that require some cash along the way. Really now, wouldn't you like to be able to secure some mega deals in trade versus just paying cold hard cash? So when it comes to one-off opportunities, which to us means partnering with a single entity and putting all of your eggs into that one basket, here's the deal. With television and streaming video on demand, network TV pricing is driven by the distribution platform and content type. Network TV like ABC, CBS, CW, NBC, and Fox, as well as the network-owned cable stations like A&E, FX, and USA, are centrally built around an advertising model. Primetime scripted content is the key moneymaker, as these shows usually have higher audiences. Nighttime talk shows also command a considerable price tag. In the scripted world on network TV, a brand is unlikely to be able to negotiate a product placement deal unless there is $1 million plus ad buy in place that allows the placement to be leveraged. Not as added value, but at an additional cost, often ranging in itself up to the low six or over seven-figure mark. But take note, relationships that your product placement agency has with the on-set production might still be able to get you a role in the show with no dollars paid out, or at least an opportunity for a placement on the show that's paid for with no media dollars supporting. It all comes down to the brand category, the network, and the show itself, the relationship, and the overall opportunity. And that is worth the retainer cost of the product placement program all on its own. Plus, there are so many other valuable additions offered. For reality TV, not including daytime talk, that's completely a different beast. For brands that aren't national advertisers, this is an area where tremendous partnerships can be built out a little bit more realistically. Reality shows offer starting fees around $50,000 and up to seven figures depending on the production and time slot and popularity of the show. But more can be negotiated here in terms of brand messaging and demonstration. Reality is just a little easier to create that big partnership with than a lot of your scripted programming. And reality TV on networks that are cable and more niche may offer brand partnership options at even lower fees. These are also the shows where brands can leverage social media to a higher extent than scripted network programming. Your primetime network reality shows are going to have higher associated costs where a budget needs to be in the mid-six to low seven figures for a large partnership. A $250,000 to $500,000 budget may provide a very robust program dependent on the distribution platform for shows that aren't necessarily the apple of the platform's eye. Cable TV networks that are entirely subscription-based like HBO, Showtime, and Starz are entirely funded by subscribers. This means there are no advertising media buy options, but each network treats product placement a little differently. HBO, as an example, will never take fees for product placement, nor will the network allow brands to typically co-promote programming, with rare exception. It's against, or at least historically has been, the network's nature. But the shows you watch are chock full of brands, all orchestrated through trade or loan of product and typically by product placement agencies. Showtime, however, is happy to take dollars for brand integration deals that make sense, and they will also allow branded co-promotions of the brand's media and retail. Fees here can range from the mid-five figures to mid-six figures, or possibly even higher based on the deal. With streaming video on demand, SVOD, it operates similarly to the cable TV networks, and there are no advertisers there to compete with. Netflix itself typically doesn't take dollars, but many of their content creators will use funds to help offset their own production costs. Hulu and Amazon Prime act similarly, and again, these platforms are a product placement agency's playground, as anything in trade or loan helps offset bottom dollar production costs which can range anywhere from $25,000 to $500,000 or more. With feature films, until recently, they've had very traditionally low dollars needs for brand involvement, with a majority of product placement driven by trade and loan of goods through product placement agencies. TV networks have the mindset that their content is able to be monetized based on their ad sales department's advertising deals, and there's no such entity at a studio. Instead, brands have typically leveraged big deals by either significant trade-out, think pallets of water provided to cast and crew, or flights on an airline or hotel room nights for production, or promotional partnerships in which the brand's media buy is co-branded or their in-store retail point of sale also advertises their partnership with the film, getting more eyeballs to the film and more money at the box office. International brands, especially those out of China, have begun to really change this mindset, however, especially with big blockbuster films. With bidding wars to be in the Transformers and the high 6 and low 7 figures, the studios have woken up and taken notice that there are indeed brands willing to pay to be in the content, especially if the brand is Asian and doesn't have a presence in the US, including that of a product placement program. And yes, I did just say that. Asian brands tend to pay more than US brands, just because there's a drive and a need and a recognition that they have to pay because they're an unknown entity to that production. Which goes back to what I said earlier. If you can make sure the production knows who you are before you start bidding in with dollars, you are going to have a much more cost-affordable opportunity. A problem exists, however, with the films that require big dollar payouts. Brands are often asking for more on-screen time and brand functionality in the storyline than the creative content team really is open to providing. And with the really big ticket blockbuster films that are already budgeted in the $250+ million range, when you're looking at, even $500,000 or $1 million to get in the storyline, the creators aren't seeing it as that much money. And while a co-promotion's valued at $5 million plus may actually get more love from the studio, especially if that promotion's in North America. So buyer beware and be prepared. There are no guarantees until final edit, and we've had big wins and losses over the years. You have to be prepared to know that anything goes in Hollywood. And while the dollars are always refundable, it's tough to get an entire company excited and then have the deal die based on a cut of a film after a year plus of working on it. We know, it's a matter of fact, it's unfortunate, but when the wins do come in, they're really big, and it's worthwhile. Music videos are a mecca for brand integration deals. It absolutely stuns me that more brands aren't taking advantage of music video integration deals. For one, they're affordable. For under $150,000 and sometimes as low as $15,000 depending on the artist's popularity, a brand can be featured in a music video. $50,000 to $75,000 is really probably the sweet spot for most starting fees for established artists without the agency fees being built in. $250,000 may be the requested for a massive artist integration on up to $1 million, but you're not going to see that all that often. But the placement partnerships don't end there. That brand, after they've gotten the integration in the music video, can also create a social media layover campaign where the artist posts about the brand. And the brand can build out a program where tickets to the artist's next concert or other memorabilia is offered up as a sweepstakes. Music videos offer brands the ability to start slowly working with an artist and building a relationship that may result in a major celebrity endorsement deal with legs further on in the process. We love music videos. They are fast. They are as close as you can get to turnkey. They come with contracts that guarantee minimum seconds. Good luck with getting that with TV or film. The networks just won't guarantee seconds, nor will filmmakers. And the artists often have assets that can be provided to make the deal just a little bit bigger. That's it for this episode. I hope it was helpful, and please let me know if you have any feedback. I'll see you next week, and as always, if you need a little or a lot of help, my agency, Hollywood Branded, is here to lend a hand.